Okay, and lastly, let's talk a bit about what you can put inside the balloon, or what we call the placemark contents. So you can actually put HTML into the balloon. Okay, so in this case, okay, I've embedded code XtremeApps image here and put information that, about the event, and I've also added more info URL, so if you click on it, it pops up in a new page. Okay, so this is all specified here. You can see the typical HTML here. It's tiny little bit of HTML. Okay, and the thing to note is that it supports all kinds of HTML. Anything which your browser can render can be rendered by the callout. Okay, so one of the most fun things to do, of course, is to go to YouTube. Right, let's just grab something. Ah, yes, everyone's watching this now. Okay, so I can just grab the embed code here and clear that. Instead of putting all this information about CXA, I instead embed YouTube here. And of course, I don't want this information. Okay, so when I run it, now instead of the image, I get YouTube. Okay? So it's very fun to be able to embed any HTML content here, and it's also very, very practically useful. For example, we have security systems which have IP cameras. So these IP cameras actually they actually put their feed on the internet. Okay, so we can actually show a camera location, and when the user clicks on it, we can then show what the camera actually can see. You know, or you can put tracking information. Basically, any IP-enabled technology can be integrated with Germanium through the use of the placemark callout. Okay. Okay. So now, okay, let me stop talking here and let's just try out the placemarks. Okay, you can modify the samples. You can also see a few more on our website. If you are more interested in seeing realistic use of placemarks, there are some here. For example, like how to draw a line going up the stairs. Same building, yeah, this is my office placemark. Yeah, how to do this kind of places. Okay, so that brings us to the end of placemarks, and now I'll just give you a quick tour of the other features that Germanium has. Okay, these are all written in this playground application. So I won't actually be going through the code, but this is on a website. You can just check the source code. I can see how things are implemented, how they use the functions. Okay, so let me take the office for example. Okay, so this particular application is pretty similar to the training sampler. You can also run your code here. There's some UI to actually create placemarks through a GUI interface instead. Okay, and the clip lanes is something I'll demonstrate later. Okay, so yeah, let me just go through all them one by one. So sometimes when you want to, when you want to just have a short tour around Germanium, you can just turn on this auto rotation, which this will make the eye go around its target lah. Okay, so it's just a very simple rotation mode, you know, while waiting for the user to do something, for example. Okay, turning on and off the grid, you've already seen. Okay, okay. You can also control the background color, okay, through this function called get the options object, and you set the background color. Okay, so for example, let me set it to red. Right, and yeah, it's painfully red. Okay, so let me turn it back to black. Okay, so besides a solid color, Germanium also has a sky box, so that you know, it can look like a sky. Okay, currently we only have one sky box, and it's a daytime sky box. In the future version, we'll have more sky boxes as well as the ability for you to specify your own sky boxes, but probably not in time for the competition. Okay, the next one requires a bit of explaining. Okay, is the orthographic view. Okay. what we are currently looking at in this view is what is known as perspective view. Okay. Now in perspective view, this is similar to how our real eyes work. So an object which is nearby looks bigger than an object that's far away. You can see these cabinets, they're actually the same physical size, but if you look at the number of pixels it covers, this one has more pixels than this one. Okay? So it's just natural, far away objects look smaller. Okay? Okay, for computer graphics and for technical illustrations, okay, there's this orthographic view, which sort of flattens everything out, okay, so that objects that are far away also look the same size. Okay, you can see that this cabinet here now is exactly the same size as this one. Okay, and the use of this is so that you can see the shape of the building very clearly. Okay, for example, right now you can tell these are all right angles. The building is very rectangular in shape. Okay, whereas when it was in perspective view, due to all the distortion, you cannot actually see the shape of the building. So sometimes especially when you're showing from far away, or if you go to shopping malls and you see the street directories, right? The floor directories. Usually the floor directory is in orthographic view because it's easier to understand the building that way. Okay. Okay. Next is so far what we have been using is called the orbit navigation mode. Okay. So by moving around, looking around things from an exterior view. Okay. So now this is actually very easy. Makes it very easy to understand the building because you can freely go around like this, study and rotate the place. Okay. But sometimes you want to let your user experience the real building, and walk in there. So that's what the first-person navigation is for. So you can enable this first-person navigation mode, and the interface then becomes like a first-person shooter, like Counter-Strike or whatever. You can look around with your mouse, and you can use the WASD keys to walk around. Okay. However, note that there is no collision detection, so you can actually walk through objects. Yeah, so this gives your users a more intimate look at the building. Okay. There's also one more navigation mode, which if you guys use the RP guide to get here, you have already seen. That's okay, you guys can try yourself. Okay, in that particular application, if you have tried to move around the scene, okay, the Germanium plugin there won't allow you to move it around using the mouse. That was because the interface was disabled, and the reason why we did that was that particular ground map only looks correct from one particular angle, so we didn't want to let you rotate around and get a very, very funny view of the Republic Polytechnic. Okay, so let me move on to the last one I want to show, and that's the clip planes. Okay, to show the clip planes, let me show you in Jukebox instead. Okay, so with the BBL, turning on and off levels, you can turn them on and off vertically, right? So this allows you to look into a building from above. Okay. However, sometimes you want to give a cross-section view of the building instead. You want to be able to look at it from sideways. So if you just look at it sideways like this, you just end up seeing the outside of the building. You can't look inside. So that's what the clip planes are for. They give you a cross-section of the building. So for example, I just want to slice it open here. Okay, and that's what I get. Okay, I basically chop the building in half. Okay, this is actually what's happening. There's actually a plane here. Yeah, and it's actually slicing the building. Yeah, and I can move it around further. Yeah. Yeah. And there's actually Germanium actually supports up to 6 of them. So let me illustrate how you can use them. So let me slice here. Okay, so I can slice both sides of the building. Okay, this particular view is not really that useful, but yeah, it's fine to play with. Okay, so you use this when you want to show a cross-section of a building, show things like staircases. These are all much clearer when you're looking at it from the side instead of from the top.